Hey guys, I'm Morthadon, and we are back for Vinland Saga, Season 1, Episode 10. Oh man, last episode we got kind of the showdown between Thorkel and Thorfinn. Really cool seeing how crazy Thorkel is and just had his fingers cut off and his hand like cut through and didn't even care. It was just like, and Thorfinn just swam away and he's like, "Oh, why are you running?" And I like seeing him get all like mad that the people were retreating because all he wants to do is fight. He doesn't care whether like they win or lose. He just wants to fight until he dies. So really funny character. Um, so I look forward to seeing more. We also have my theory that Canute is a woman because of the side shot we had of her just look like she's a woman with facial structure and eyelashes and stuff like that. But it seems like people think she's a man, and now she's going to be in charge of the siege of London. So I'm interested how all that goes. So yeah, let's check out this episode and see what happens. We have our Thorfinn reunited with Askeladd, and they're heading towards a place that I didn't write down. So it's like Messer or something like that. I don't know, something like that. But or Wessex maybe. It might be Wessex. But yeah, we're gonna start here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Brum brum. Oh shit! Is is Thorkel taking the offensive? Are you serious? That's insane. Friggin' anime exaggerated crazy ass Vikings. Hmm. He's like a cannon. They're just gonna sit there. Hmm. Is Ragnar tricked too? I don't know. If it's the prince, then how would they? Huh, okay, I don't know. Jesus, what a crazy bastard. Maybe I'm wrong then. Maybe Canute isn't a woman, I don't know. It's just weird that the king last episode seemed to think it was a man, and I thought he was just being tricked, but wouldn't the king know that one of his... Because to be a prince, you have to be a descendant of the king. So, it's kind of weird for the king to not know the gender of his own child. So, but maybe the king has a bunch of kids and just doesn't pay attention. It could be that. Maybe he, like, only treats the sons well, so from a very young age, or like forever, she's been protected by being called a boy. So that way she can be treated well by the king. Because back then, kings and stuff really just wanted sons, because they're the ones that, like, inherit, right? I guess we shall find out eventually. A dream? Is this Vinland he's dreaming of? Mama. Is the dream gonna get corrupt? I miss you, Thors. Yeah, so dreaming of his family being in Vinland, I'm assuming. Not really talking in the dream anymore, huh? Waiting for you to come home. Damn. Is his dad gonna get hit? Yeah, the arrows again. Oh, man. This poor kid. He's gone through so much shit. Just sleeping in a hay pen with a dude, like, dead right next to him. Typical Vikings. Hmm. Oh, is his ankle healed? I wonder how long it's been. Or it's anime stuff where they heal overnight. Ugh. So you trying to, like, hold hands as they're just getting slaughtered and shit. Oh, you throw that food on the ground. Such a waste. Hmm. Running out of shit to plunder? Or something like that? I guess. Huh. I'll talk about it in the discussion. My my hawing and making different noises. I was just thinking about something. Jeez. They're just gonna fight to the death, huh? Oh, I saw this in the background of one of the other shots. I didn't think he'd actually come up to it, though. Crazy that they're able to live here. A lot of... I guess it's just leaning more towards his motivations and stuff like that. I feel like there's a lot of extra in this episode that maybe we don't necessarily need. I was trying to think of, like, why we have it. Hmm. I was thinking about that. I was like, you should wait till he gets old and then kill him. Yeah. Everyone dies. Everything falls. It's kind of crazy that they knew about the Romans. Like, there was enough, like, word of mouth and stuff like that. Even this much time later. I guess I don't know how long it's been since the Saxon. I guess they just said, right? Sorry, but no. Who's approaching? Okay. Hmm. Oh, okay. Are they gonna get roped into this? We're Vikings. What do you expect? What did Thorkel do? Oh. Thorkel's going after the main army. Oh, defeated? What? Damn. So Thorkel just go after him? Such a risky move to come out of the fortress, but Thorkel's insane, so... And it seems to have worked for him. He's just swinging around a giant stick. Jeez. That's insane. Oh my god. Of course. Does he kill the prince, or do we... Ah, they took him. Oh shit! Interesting. Are they gonna go after London? Oh, okay. Nice. I wonder if Askeladd has more motivation than this. Like, he had a vision of what I imagine is Canute's hair. I wonder if he has more of a connection to Canute than he's saying. Using this as a reason, like getting money as a reason, but maybe he really just wants to save what I think is her. I wonder what Thorfinn is thinking about all this. Like, everything that was said to him last night by Askeladd, and then now all of this. That was an interesting episode. It felt like there was a lot of, like, Thorfinn dreaming about, like, what I imagine is Vinland. I feel like this episode was kind of maybe setting up a future motivation that is past Askeladd, like getting revenge on Askeladd, and setting up the contradiction in Thorfinn of like, do you think I'd actually want you to get revenge? I want you to protect your family and stuff, and Thorfinn thinking about how he's not with his family now, right? So I think it's setting up these contradictions in his mind, but the beginning with all that did kind of feel like half the episode was just kind of slow, you know? but then we had, and then the second half was them kind of just like talking and learning about what's going on and planning and all that. So, but I mean, I don't need a battle every episode. It might be kind of a shorter discussion because I just don't know. Like, really, it's just the dream stuff, the conversation with Askeladd, and then finding out about Canut's forces and Thorkel going after the main army. It's like once I talk about that stuff, it's kind of like not much more, you know? But I still liked the episode. That is it, guys, for episode 10. The one thing that I did write down, I literally only wrote down 2 things, I guess. But obviously I had more than that to talk about. They talked about the war being almost over, with Denmark potentially winning the war on England, like what that could mean for them. And I didn't really think about it, I guess. Like, that's kind of the thing, right? Is even though they're Vikings, they don't necessarily, I mean, they try not to, at least. Obviously, we had Askeladd killing the guy here, but I don't think they raid and pillage, like, Denmark's people, right? So if Denmark wins the war and they won't have anyone to pirate anymore, I think that's what he was talking about when he said, like, when Bjorn was saying, like, oh, I don't know, we're about to win the war. Like, when they said, like, next year will hopefully be better in terms of, like, spoils and everything. If Denmark takes this land over, they might not have anywhere to pirate anymore. Unless they just start attacking their own people and stealing from them. But I'm sure that wouldn't work out well, because I imagine they collect all this money in order to go spend it somewhere, right? And if you're attacking your own people, then no one's going to trust you to take in your money, and then what you're stealing is ultimately useless. But maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's the vibe that I got anyway. So, and then we had Askeladd kind of talking about, like, the twilight and all that, kind of I think he sees, like, the end of their fighting coming soon. Like, once they beat the Saxons, then there's not going to be much fighting left, and with people that live for fighting and steal to survive, what are they going to be left with, right? So I think that's kind of why he's just Hail Marying into fights that maybe he even can't win, just because he wants to go down in this blaze of glory, right? Before everything comes to an end. And he's, you know, he has, like, the religion side of things with Ragnarok and his beliefs and all that, so I found it really interesting that they know about, like, the Roman Empire. I mean, I guess it hasn't been, like, we know about the Roman Empire. I don't really know, like, how we know as much as we know about the Roman Empire. Like, obviously I know we know a decent bit about it, but I don't know if it's, like, how we recovered, like, texts and that's how we know, or is it just from word of mouth through the ages, or I don't know. I really have no idea, like, how we know all of this stuff, but either way, it's really interesting, like, them knowing about it, because back then it's all, like, word of mouth, especially, like, amongst these, like, pirates and everything. They know about it, or at least Askeladd knows about it, who he, you know, maybe the rest of his forces know nothing about it, because, you know, it's not like they have, like, big education systems back then. You know, they live in these, like, small villages and stuff. It's, like, interesting how you learn about that stuff, but I guess just word of mouth, he somehow learned the history of the world and all that. So, but yeah, certainly cool to see, like, some remnants of the, you know, the stonework, and talking about how their civilization was more advanced than what took them over, which is also kind of interesting to think about. It's always fascinating when they talk about the Roman Empire, because it was, like, a really advanced civilization. So Um, it's always been a fascinating topic when it's brought up in shows and seeing it in media. I don't know how much of my knowledge, most of my knowledge comes from a little bit that I learned in school that I still remember, and then a lot of it from how it's represented in TV shows. And I have no idea how accurate some of the stuff it is in TV shows and all that, but it really is pretty crazy to think about. I'd love like a Roman TV show. It doesn't have to be an anime or something like that, but um something where you get to see like somewhat realistic portrayal of like what the Roman civilization was probably like, because obviously it's nothing compared to what we have now, but it is interesting that like they can be taken down by, you know, lesser people, if you will, like less civilized, right? And it's kind of crazy, like if the Roman civilization wouldn't have fallen, I wonder like how much farther our civilization would be. Like, could they have progressed technologically sooner if there wasn't like a setback due to war and stuff like that, right? I don't know. It's obviously there's no way to know what that alternate world could have been like, but it is like kind of crazy to think about. So, um, but there's other aspects of the world and everything that you can compare that to as well. Like, if, you know, some bad guys would have won, like if Hitler would have won, what would the world be like now, and stuff like that. It's like kind of, I think that's why whenever we get to like alternate world line storylines and stuff like that, like when you see like multiverse shows and stuff like that that deal with that kind of thing, and you get to see like, oh, this is a world where such and such would have happened, and you get to see like, obviously it's just some guy thinking up like, oh, what could have been that happened, and it's just someone making it up, but it's really fascinating to see that kind of thing. But I talked about it a bit during the opening, but Prince Canute, it's interesting with him or her being what it is. Like, I'm really curious in that mystery, because to me it looks like a woman. Even once again here, the eyelashes are drawn like usually you draw women's eyelashes, but I thought that the one guy, I still don't remember his name, from Berserk, looked like a woman too. The friend of Guts and everything. Uh, I thought he looked very feminine too when I first saw him. I was like, is it supposed to be like a girl? Actually had a similar look with like the bangs and the long hair and everything. So maybe it is a guy, but I don't know, I just get the vibes that it's a girl. And we also had Askeladd, who seemed to have like a brief image in his head of like the flowing blonde hair. So it makes me wonder, I already said this, but if Askeladd knows that it's a woman, and if he has like some kind of connection to her, that the other people don't realize, and he's using the fact that she's valuable to persuade his men to go, but maybe he has alternative reasons to wanting to save her. And it is like kind of crazy that he's going into this like kind of like he's throwing his life away to go into this, even though like, I don't know, like, why wouldn't he group up with those other people and fight? Why did he kill them and say like the 100 of us are enough? And then they're like, well, what are you gonna do about Thorkel? And, you know, he has more men and it's Thorkel, he's strong as hell. And he's like, we'll see. It's like, I wonder if he has a reason for wanting to like get to her alone, right? Or him, whatever it is. But yeah, interesting. As for Thorfinn and his like dreams of what I imagine is supposed to be Vinland, even though he didn't say it, he was just wondering what it was, and seeing his family there and all that, and his dad talking about like, do you think I'd be happy with revenge, and the different imagery and stuff like that. I do wonder if he's a bit conflicted, but then he did, you know, Askeladd did talk to him and he went right back into that revenge mode. So but then after what Askeladd said and some of the looks on Thorfinn's face, I do wonder if he's starting to think about, you know, I'm sure he still wants to get revenge on Askeladd, but I wonder if he's starting to think a little bit more about like what's after and what's going on during, you know, this, rather than the revenge being his only obsession. I don't know. But anyway, I do feel like maybe I missed a little bit. Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy the beginning of this episode as much as I should have, is maybe there was a little bit more symbolism I was supposed to pick up on that I didn't. Like maybe, and like I said, maybe it'll mean more for his character going forward in future episodes. I'll be like, oh, okay, since he had those dreams, he's now having these thoughts, and that makes that episode way more impactful. And maybe as a whole, once I get through the show, I'll be like, that episode was important, you know? So anyways, thank you so much for watching. That's going to be it for me. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. Check out my Patreon if you want to see more episodes, 2 more episodes ahead of time through the early access tier. Links in the description. Links should also be popping up on the screen. And I will see you guys in my future reactions. Bye-bye.